Good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar on using Claude with Excel for FP&A. Right, FP&A in itself is such a hot topic. CFOs are constantly looking for such FP&A talent who can integrate tech and automation with their finance function. And with AI coming in everywhere, we're seeing that things are being disrupted every day, right? And the latest ability to add Claude as an Excel add-in and then execute things seamlessly is a far more advantage as well, right? So we'll look at that today and understand how Claude can be integrated in FP&A. So just a quick roadmap for today's session. We'll understand why Claude and what is Claude and how you can integrate that with Excel and why this is going to be game changing, right? We'll no longer be writing longer Excel formulas or trying to figure out our way with long Excel formulas and big data sets, right? So Claude is going to make things very easy for us. We'll also look at the quick installation and basics, spend some time on setting up things, and then from there, we will pick up speed to understand multiple use cases of how we can integrate Claude plus Excel in our finance and FP&A use cases. We'll try and share with you good 3 to 4 solid use cases which you can apply right away in your jobs. And then, of course, we'll have some time for Q&A in the end. Make sure that you stay through till the very end. And because of the number of attendants, we won't be able to unmute all of you now, but we will allow you to unmute at the end when we are doing the Q&A as well. Okay, so all in all, it's going to be an exciting next 60 minutes. So brace yourself and let's start with Claude plus Excel in FP. So before we begin, just a quick introduction about us. My name is Dhawal Parvatikar. I'm a qualified chartered accountant, and I also completed my 1-year general management program from IIM Ahmedabad. Over the last 16 years, I've served as a CFO in India and in the Middle East. I'm now the co-founder and lead faculty at FP&A Professionals Institute. Over the last 6 years, I've been an active online instructor and have trained more than 5,000 students on various topics like FP&A, finance business partnering, data storytelling, CFO career coaching, and now AI for finance and FP&A. I'm frequently seen in CFO events across the Middle East. I've also built a strong CFO community of more than 200 CFOs where we meet every quarter, exchange insights, and always keep looking for futuristic discussions. I have my partner, Asif Masani, with me. Asif, a quick introduction from your end.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for having me. And about me, quickly, I have been working in finance, very specifically in FP&A for over a decade. So started in audit back in 2010 and then moved into FP&A in 2013. So started as an FP&A analyst back in 2013, and my last corporate role was the FP&A lead for APAC in India for one of the biggest edtech companies. And that's when we decided to start FP&A Professionals Institute back in 2013. And what we do at FP&A Professionals Institute is we try to bring in not just my and Dhawal's experience of CFO and as FP&A leaders, but we try to bring in expertise of FP&A leaders across the globe, right from North America to Europe to Middle East. And we do that through our trainings, we do that through our courses, our podcasts, YouTube videos, webinars, post on LinkedIn, right? Whatever we do, we try to bring in all the expertise that we can to our community and to everybody so that we can upskill more people in FP&A. Over the last 3 years, we have trained more than 5,000 students over all of these certifications and courses that you see on the screen. So let me quickly talk about Claude, right? What is Claude? If you haven't heard about Claude, I would be surprised because it has been a hot topic in discussion for over last, I would say, 3 weeks now. Early in February, or I think it was first week of February, when stock market crashed and investors lost billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And it was because of one of the reasons was because of the release of the new version of the Anthropic's Claude model. So they released a new model along with the capabilities of doing co-work and doing task. Okay, so this was the first time when Claude was able to do task and act like an agent instead of just like a large language chat model. was the point when I also got interested in what Claude is. Before that, I was using Claude, but I was not that regular. I was more of a ChatGPT user. However, after the first week of February, that I started seriously using Claude, and I've been using Claude over the last 3 or 4 weeks, almost every day. And I must say that right now, what capabilities it has, it can easily replace. If you needed 5 or 6 junior analysts in your team, now you could do with one or two. Okay, Claude could take care of all the data cleaning, all the financial modeling that usually is done by FP&A analysts or junior analysts. So that is the power of Claude. So I would encourage you to stay till the end and understand how it works and implement that so that you don't stay behind while you are at work. Okay, so that's a little bit about Claude. What is Claude in very simple language? It is a large language model which basically has been trained on billions of sets of data. So these data sets could be text data, it could be images, it could be financial models, it could be annual reports. So it has been trained on billions and billions of data sets. And what it does is when you prompt it to give a financial model or when you prompt it to do some analysis, uses all the training it has done over these data sets and it tries to predict the next move. Now, because it has been trained over and over billions of times, it is able to nearly accurately predict the next step of analysis or the next step of the task that you are instructing it to do. So that is what Claude is. And very specifically, now let me make you the host. Yeah, I think you can be the one who can control the screen now.
Yes, sir. You want me to share or wait? I think I'll have to ask you to unmute.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So let's go back. So we were discussing the power of Claude and how, yeah. So we were discussing what is Claude, and now you will have to mute yourself. You'll have to mute yourself. So we were discussing how powerful Claude is, and it has potential to replace junior analysts. And this is what we will take a look in terms of what how you can start using Claude. And if you haven't seen it before, this would be a good next 30 minutes for you to just see what all capabilities it has. So we'll start with looking at what you need to do to be able to get started with Claude. So let me first show you how you can get Claude and what it requires. So it does require a paid version. So you cannot do most of these things in the free model or in the free version. So you can do few of the things, but I would say 90% of the task you would require or it would ask you to upgrade to a paid model. Okay, so let me go and share my screen. So this is the website, which is claude.ai. I will put that in the chat box. This is where you need to go and create an account. You could do that using your Google, or you could use your email and create an account. So it's a very straightforward process where you get the OTP, and then based on that it creates an account and you can log in. Okay, so I have already created my account, so I'll just say continue with Google. Once you log into Claude, it will be a free version when you start. So when you start, it'll be a free version, and then it'll ask you to pick up one of the plans. So it will ask you to either pick the free plan, the pro plan, or the third tier, which is I believe, the enterprise, or it's even more expensive than the pro plan. Most of the features that I'm going to show you will be able to do those on the pro plan. So once you have your Claude set up, or once you have created the Claude account, the second thing that you need is your Excel add-in. Okay, so what you need to do next is you need to go to your Excel file. So let me open up Excel file. Okay, so I'm just opening up a new Excel file. And here, when you go to your home section into the add-ins, okay, here you can just type Claude. And if you don't have it yet, it'll appear somewhere here in the search results, and you can then add it and it'll get installed on the right-hand side. So this usually takes less than a minute. Once you add it, it gets installed. I already have it, so let me just click on the Open Claude add-in option. This is what you will see. If you are using it for the first time, it will ask you to log in, and you can use the same credentials that you had used to create your Claude account just few minutes back. So once you have logged in, it is very similar to your ChatGPT window where you have an ability to type and interact with the tool. Okay. However, there are a couple of things that are different, which I will point out. Okay, so although you can chat with the tool, there's an interesting drop down here, which, okay, let me make this big. Okay, so there's an interesting drop down here which says either accept all edits or ask before editing. Okay, so if you select accept all edits, it will take decisions on its own. However, if you select ask before edits, it will ask you every step of the way, whatever it is doing, and it'll pause and it'll ask you a question, and you can instruct Claude every step of the way. Okay,
Sorry,
so
so if you can make it a little bit bigger, your screen.
yeah, is it visible now?
Yeah, this is a bit too big. Or maybe you can slightly lower it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the drop down which says either accept all edits or ask before editing. So depending on how fast you want to go or how accurate you want to be, you can select one of the two options. Right now I'm selecting accept all edits. However, in real life use case, if I'm doing it for my work, I may want to do ask before edits because I want to make sure that I see every step what it is doing. So let me select accept all edits for now. Okay, and let's say what it can do. It says here take actions in Excel, and it says I can build a financial model, I can explain whatever there in this workbook, I can look at the formulas and figure out what is there in the formulas and debug the formulas. Okay, it can clean and transform messy data, so all of these things it can do. So let me just select this particular option. Okay, build financial models. Okay, and when I clicked it, it automatically created a prompt which says create a 5-year DCF valuation model with multiple scenarios, sensitivity tables, and key value drivers. Okay, so this is a auto-generated prompt which came up when you clicked on this button. I don't want a 5-year DCF valuation plan. I'll say I want a 3-year income statement, or I'll say 3-year P&L forecast for. Let us assume I am into the education business and I want to open up a school. I'll say for a school, okay, with 50 students in year one, 100 in year two, and 200 in year three. I'll say assume retention is 90%. Okay. And I'd say assume normal expenses that a school usually incurs. Okay, so let's see what it does. I'll just press enter. Okay, remember I have selected accept all edits options so that it'll not pause in between, it will continue. Okay, still it is asking me, I think in the first step, it says tuition per year. What is the tuition you should? Okay, so I have not given the assumption for the tuition. So let me say the tuition is $10,000 per year. Okay, is this a key to school, preschool? Okay, so I'll say it's a key to school. Okay, you mentioned 50, 100. Should I treat this as total enrollment targets, or you recruit enough students to hit those numbers after 10%? So I'll say consider these as total enrollment target. So we want new students if students are leaving. So I'll consider it as total enrollment targets, and I'll say I need USD. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, it says great. I have everything I need to plan, and let me create this model. Okay, so based on these assumptions, it is now picking up the expense assumptions. Okay, it has created a log sheet. So you can see that log sheet has been created in the Excel sheet where it will document all the different steps that it is performing. So it is setting up the log sheet. Okay, so what happens behind the scene is when it says rename sheet 1 to P&L forecast, Claude is interacting with Excel and it is asking Excel to change or rename the sheet. Okay, so Claude and Excel are connected through API keys, and when Claude instructs Excel to perform a task, Excel can receive that instruction and also execute that because of that connection of API. Okay, so now it is building the PNL model. Okay, it's saying I'm updating the title row, I'm updating the assumptions header. So let's see what's happening in the PNL forecast. Okay, so if you can see on the left hand side, PNL assumptions are being documented. So total enrollment targets, retention rate, returning students, new students, okay, annual tuition per year. Okay, although the currency is not right, which is a formatting thing, we can change that later. Okay, it has assumed the average salary of a teacher. Okay, also it has assumed student to teacher ratio, which we did not give. So it has made an assumption there will be 15 students for one teacher. Okay, and based on that, it has started updating the revenue forecast. Okay, so right now I already have the total revenue number. Okay, now it is updating the operating expenses. Okay, so as you can notice, it is as it is updating each and every step. You can see that on the right hand side, and it is right now it is saying facility subheader. So at that point it was updating this row number 30. Okay, so now it is at this which is academic and program, which is this academic subheader. So you can, if I open this drop down, you will see the code which is running behind to be able to give this instruction to Excel.
Also, just a quick question. So why
Yeah.
does it differentiate between blue and black? Is that the calculated number or how's it?
Yeah, so typically in financial modeling, blue color typically represents hard coded and black is a formula. So that is what it is. So if you notice, blue color cells are all hard coded, and this black color cell is a formula. Okay, so it's following also the best practices of financial modeling. Okay, so now it has completed the operating expenses. Okay, typically I would have taken easily more than 2 hours to build this entire P&L or the entire forecast of 3 years. It is done in a matter of less than 5 minutes, although it may not be 100% perfect, but I can look at the assumptions and update it as and how I like once Claude is done generating it. Okay, now it is saying now let me add top bottom border. So it is also formatting the data. Okay, so not just creating the data, but it is also now working on the formatting. Okay, so now it is working on the column widths and making sure that the background color is better and the formatting is better. Okay, everything looks correct. The model shows school running at loss all 3 years, but improving as scale increases. Let me because I had assumed only 50 students, it is running at a loss, but I can change that assumption if I want to do that. Okay. So it is now doing some more steps. Okay. So I'll not continue this. So this will maybe take another 20 minutes if it continues, but you can see the power of Claude, how it can quickly generate P&L forecasts. You can do three statement financial models. You can do any financial modeling task which you would earlier had taken maybe an hour or 2 hours. Now it can be done in less than 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, now it says the P&L forecast is complete. Here is the summary. So it is given the summary, and I think it's done. So it has completed the task. And now if I want to review this, I can do that. Let me just make this smaller. I can review all of these numbers. I can change any of these numbers if it has made a mistake, and then I can use the final output. So this was one example. Let me show you a couple of more
Sorry,
few
so a
more
quick
examples.
question. So these are formula linked, right? So if I change 50 as a number, then does it get updated?
They are. So let me make it 500, or maybe let me make it 200, 500 and 2000. Okay, so everything
Awesome.
gets updated, the revenue gets updated. Now we will be in profit. Okay, so because of now less students we were in losses. Now with more number of students, it is turning into profits. Okay. All right. So this was one example. Let me show you. So we'll not be prompting each and every example. So I've created some use cases for you just so that you can get an idea of how and what all things it can do. So this is for you to be able to imagine, okay, if I see that Asif is using it to do this particular use case, I have a similar use case at my office and I could probably also use that. Okay, so I want to try and bring as many use cases as possible. So let me start with one of the basic analysis that usually finance people do, which is price volume mix analysis, which is one of the most basic analysis. Okay. So here what I have on the screen, the whole my screen is visible, right?
Yes, Asif, we can see it.
So on the top table, I have my budget numbers. So I have three different products: oil, gas, and jet fuel. Okay, three different products. I have the budget on the top and actuals in the table below. Okay, I have number of units, pricing, FX rate. So these are the three inputs, and then the revenue is your pricing into volume into FX rate. Okay, so this is the data. Now I wanted it to perform a full price volume mix analysis and tell me what is the split of the variance between the actual number, which is 8.3 million, and the budget number, which is 8.8 million, and tell me exactly how much is coming from volume, how much is coming from pricing, how much is coming from mix, and how much is coming from FX rate. Typically, this would have taken me about 25-30 minutes to document it and build all the formulas. Yes, what I did is I just give this prompt to Claude. Okay, I'll just make it big for you so that you can see. Calculate the price, volume, mix, and effects analysis using the data set. Okay, so just this prompt I'm giving, and this data set is there. Okay, and it started doing the analysis and read the entire data set and started updating the calculations. Okay, so it did all the calculations, did the price volume mix analysis. Okay, and this is what it came up with on the right hand side. If you can see, it completed the entire analysis, splitting that variance of the difference between these two numbers and breaking that up into different components. So pricing related variance, this is volume related variance, pricing related to oil, pricing related to gas, and it is giving me an entire walk from the budget number, which is 8.8 million, to the actual number, which is 8.3 million. Okay, not only that, it also created a waterfall chart for the price volume mix. So it started with the budget and then created a walk to arrive at the actual number. So all of this was done in a matter of less than 5 minutes. Ideally, I would have taken more than 30 minutes to be able to compute all of these calculations on my own. Okay, so this is another example of doing analysis using the Claude. I'll just quickly check the chat box if there are any questions.
No questions. There was one which I've answered.
Okay, so
Yeah, for everybody else, feel free to drop in questions. We can take them at appropriate intervals. Continue,
okay,
Asif.
so let me move on to the next piece of analysis. Okay, so capital budgeting, NPV, IRR analysis is one of the common analysis that we do for longer term projects. So any project more than 1 year, we need to evaluate it based on considering the time value of money. So in that case, what I had was the top section. So let me hide what section I had before giving the prompt. So I'll just group this section. Okay, so I had given it the problem of saying that I wanted to invest in a new machinery which costed $100,000, and the machine was expected to bring in annual cash flow of $40,000 every year for the next 5 years. So you can see $40,000 coming in every year next 5 years, and also the project duration is 5 years, and the discount rate is 16%. Okay, so these were the inputs I had for the particular use case, and when I had to do NPV and IRR calculations, I would have had to use Excel formulas, and I would have had to do some data setup, and then I would have been able to do that. Okay, so now let's see what Claude did in the on the right hand side. Okay, so again, a very simple prompt: calculate NPV, IRR, payback period, and discounted payback period using the data set that I have given to you. Okay, it started with reading the data, and it could easily identify the data set and the assumptions. Okay, now it is building the NPV, IRR, payback period calculations. It says building calculations table in the table rows 12 to 18, which is below, which I had just hidden. I'll open it. 12 to 18. Okay, so it was working on this section in this step. Okay. Then it came up with these numbers on NPV, IRR. Okay, so it came up with the NPV number, it came up with the IRR number, it came up with the payback period, and also the discounted payback period. It did all the calculation on its own, and also it gave the final output or the decision, which is whether to accept or to reject the project. It says you should accept the project because the NPV is positive, and also the IRR is greater than the discount rate. So I typically, again, I would have probably had to spend 20 minutes to do this, and also I needed to be knowing the formulas in Excel for calculating NPV, IRR. Now with Claude, I can just give a prompt and it will do the calculation, although I need to make sure that I double check it, but it still is helping me, saving a lot of time while I do that.
So
Okay.
there are a couple of connected questions. Maybe we
Mhm.
can take them. Let
Yeah,
me read them out for you. Okay. How about the accuracy of the model once it becomes more complex?
yeah. So in my experience, it has been accurate 9 out of 10 times. It does make mistakes. I would not say it does not make mistakes. However, anything it does, you have to double check. You cannot just blindly take and give it to your manager or wherever you are presenting this. Okay, so you have to make sure that you double, triple check it, and then only if it makes mistakes, it will be on your right. It will be you will be responsible. You cannot say that Claude has made a mistake. Right. So consider
But it is
it
capable
like,
of handling large data sets.
yeah, it is capable and fairly accurate, I would say, compared to the previous versions or the other chat tools that I've used. However, it can make mistakes, and you have to make sure that you review it thoroughly before you are using it for any purposes. Okay.
Next question. Can this be done on multiple sheets simultaneously?
It can
Like if
be.
you have
So yeah,
two sheets open and then you can.
you need to give a specific prompt that I need calculation on this on a one on a new sheet and the other section on a separate sheet. I am sure it should be able to do that.
So there's one more question. If we put any Excel sheet in Claude and use my own prompt, will it work? So I believe that's more using Claude rather than using Claude in Excel.
Yeah, so that is what we used to do before we had the Excel add-in. Now, because you have the Excel add-in, you can just use Claude inside Excel. So you don't need to go to Claude and upload an Excel file.
Okay, so let's take one last question. Maybe we can take the others in the end. If you can show once again on how to add Claude Excel add-in.
Yes. So to add the Excel add-in, you need to go to the Home tab here. Right now, I have it added. So you can see this orange color icon here, orange and white color icon here. Assuming you don't have it, you can go to Add Ins option here, and you can just type Claude, and it'll appear here in your search results. Just click on Add, and it'll get added to the Excel file, and you will see it here. And if you haven't logged in before, so you will also have to log in using your Claude account that you created in the previous step.
Okay, so there are more
Okay.
questions, but maybe we can take them in the end as well.
Yeah, if it is connected to this example, we can take now. Otherwise, we will take it at the end.
Yeah,
Is
we
it
can move forward. We can move forward.
okay? All right. Okay, so we looked at an example of building a 3-year forecast. We looked at an example of doing price volume mix analysis. We looked at capital budgeting and PVRR. Let me show you another example of doing some analysis related to let me just pull up sensitivity analysis. Okay, let me try doing this live. So let me delete this section. Okay, let me create a new workbook. Okay, and I'll pick up this problem here. So I'm bringing the assumptions of my use case, and I am bringing in the, okay, so let me delete this. So what we have here is a simple website revenue model. Okay, so this is a website which is earning money based on the visitors and the advertisements that it runs. So based on the number of visitors and the based on the percentage of visitors who click on the advertisements and also the impressions, it earns revenues. So there is a detailed logic through it. So there is an average cost per meal, average cost per click, and based on the cost per meal and cost per click, you get your revenues. And total revenues is your CPM revenues plus your CPC revenue. So there is a detailed, or I would say a small model, revenue model on the left hand side. And now what I want to do is I want to understand how much the revenue changes when I change the number of visitors. So if I want to see what will be the revenue at 500,000 visitors, at 750, at 100, at 1 million, at 1.25 million. And I also want to see how the revenue changes if I change my click-through rate. Okay, basically changing one or more assumptions. I want to see how the revenue changes, which is what sensitivity analysis does. Okay, so let me just make sure that I set it up properly. Okay, so this is the table. Okay, and let me try and giving it a prompt saying that, let me make this big. Could you perform sensitivity analysis on this data set if it is able to do that? Okay, so remember, I am trying to figure out what will be my revenue at different levels of visitors on the website and at different levels of my click-through rate. So basically, I'm trying to see the change in the revenue number by changing one or more assumptions. So I'm changing two different assumptions and I want to look at what is the revenue number. Okay, so let's see what it is being doing. Okay, so it says, now I understand the model, the website is a block model and it is reiterating all the assumptions. Okay, it's asking me one question. Would you like to adjust any of the drivers or additional sensitivity? Okay, fill in the sensitivity table in 15 with formulas. Okay, so it's asking me to, should I fill in the sensitivity table? So it's asking me, should I fill in this table? Okay, so I'll say yes, fill up the table. Okay, let's see if it is able to do that. Okay, so it says, let me fill in the sensitivity table with formulas that calculate annual revenue for each combination of click-through rate and monthly visitors, keeping CPM at $2. Okay, and CPC at $1.5. So it's making some assumptions and it is trying to update the sensitivity analysis table here. Okay, so it is already now updated. If I just quickly see the formulas here, okay, so it has picked up the right revenue number and the right formulas for CPM, CPC. And these were the exact numbers that I deleted. I remember them because I've been doing this for a couple of multiple times in the last few days. So these were the exact numbers which it had, which I deleted. Okay. If I had to do this manually, I had to create this table. I had to go to data analysis, what if analysis, and it was a lengthy process. Now I can just do it with the help of a quick prompt. Okay. So another example of doing analysis, which you typically do. So we looked at sensitivity analysis, capital budgeting. Let me see if I have another use case which I can share. Okay,
Yeah.
so let
So,
me.
yeah, there are plenty of questions, Asif. So maybe you can just cover one
Mhm.
more and then we can take
Yeah.
some questions as well. Yeah.
Okay. So another interesting analysis that we do in a tech industry is cohort analysis. So here is a data. So consider this to be a software company, and here the customers are paying for the subscription,
Asif, you
and
need to
we have.
increase the size. You need to increase the size.
Yeah. So this is the raw data. Consider this to be a raw data of a software company. And this is typically your data of your customers. Okay, so let me just quickly show you what the column sets are. So you have your sign up date. Okay, this is a date when the customer first signs up on the software. Okay, so, based on that, it gets added to one of the cohort. Okay, which plan the customer taken has taken. So there are three different plans: starter, professional, and enterprise. Okay, and then all the related data. Okay, so what is the monthly revenue, company size, region. Okay, so all the data of that particular customer. Okay. Now, if I want to do some analysis on this, one of the most useful analysis for this type of setup is cohort analysis, where I try to understand how the customer from what that particular month who had joined in the month of April 2020 is behaving as a cohort, or people who joined back in April 2020. If there were say 200 people, how those 200 people have been behaving over a period of time. So that's an interesting analysis which we can do using cohort analysis. Okay, so let me show you what prompt I gave to Todd. Okay, so none of these prompts are complicated. I'm just using simple English language. Okay, so perform cohort analysis on this data set. That's a simple prompt I'm giving. It says I'll start by examining the data to understand the structure and perform cohort analysis before performing cohort analysis. So it went through the data. Okay. Okay. And then it said that now I have a good understanding of the data. Let me process it in Python and build a comprehensive cohort analysis. Okay. So this took a while. So this took about 5 to 7 minutes. So it was not very quick compared to the other use cases. It took a good amount of time, I would say, and good amount of in terms of your tokens. So I think I had hit my limit after while I was doing this analysis. I had to wait for a few minutes till I restated. So it used a good amount of tokens as well, but it was able to do fairly accurate analysis, which I would have taken maybe more than 2 3 hours to do it manually. Okay, so it created a couple of tables which are very interesting. So this is the exact vote analysis I was looking for. So this gives me 55 people joined in January 2022. So you have your 24 months. Okay, so the data was spread across 24 months, and you can exactly see which set of people joined in January 2022. So there are 55 customers who joined in January 2022, and in the first 3 months, nobody churned. Okay, so nobody. I think there was 100% retention in the first 3 months, and then people started leaving. And as of today, which is after 24 months, 78% of those customers are still with the organization. Okay, so this is a very interesting analysis, which typically is done especially for software companies and any companies which have this type of setup where customers are signing up in different periods of time. So again, this would have taken me good 3 to 4 hours to do it manually if I had to do it using formulas. Maybe if I was good in Excel, I would have taken maybe 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, but now I can probably do this in less than 10 minutes without even using my mind. Okay, I have to make sure that the analysis is correct, but if I am able to validate it, then I can use it. Okay, so I will take a pause. So there are more use cases, but in the interest of time, we will take questions and see if there are any questions in the chat box.
Yes, Asif. So let me continue with the questions where we left. Would you please give us some tips on how to write prompts in a way which does not consume much tokens or optimizing on the tokens?
Yeah, so yeah, I am still struggling with that. So maybe not. I'm still in the process of figuring that out. But I don't think so. It is based on your prompt. It is based on how much
Complexity of the task.
basically how much time it takes or how much steps it takes to perform that particular task. Yeah, but that is also true. If you give a detailed prompt, it will give you a more better answer. It could give you a better answer if you're giving it a more detailed prompt. That is also true.
Okay, so next one is a little bit technical. If you're logged out in the process of instructing Claude, what is the advised way
Mhm.
to proceed? I get the error load failed.
Yes, yes. So yeah, I have seen that error. So what I would suggest is just restart it. I mean, log in again, and if you are able to see the history of the log right on the Claude add-in, you should be able to continue. But if the history has not been logged, then you will have to redo that entire.
Okay, so do you have any use case examples applicable to startups, example valuation, cash flow modeling, etc.?
Yeah, so couple of these examples we did today are related to like this example. This cohort analysis is one of the classic analysis that startups could do. In terms of cash flow forecasting, definitely it can do that. So we can definitely I will create a use case on that and I will share that separately. So it is definitely capable of doing cash flow forecasting.
Okay, so can it work on existing data and do scenario analysis and Power BI? So I'm not sure I understand the
No.
question.
Yeah, no, so
If
it doesn't work with Power Query, it doesn't work with Power BI from what I have understood till now. Power BI, Power Query, macros, I think data,
yeah.
so data drop downs, data validation, it doesn't pick up. So there are few Excel features it is not yet been able to interact with. So Power Query, no data validation, I was not able to do. And Power BI, I haven't tried it extensively, so I cannot comment. But I am sure over time, it's very just this was released just 2 3 weeks back. I am sure over time it will be able to do that if it is able to do all of these.
How commonly MNCs have started accepting Claude AI in their day-to-day analysis?
Yeah,
Maybe I can take that. So cool. So see, right now we are at a stage where many enterprises are evaluating enterprise AI solutions. So right now, what you need to focus on is just the skill set to talk to these tools and get things done. You will get your enterprise version very soon, where it will interact only with your company set of data while using the trained intelligence. That will address all of the enterprise related work, privacy issues, all of that. Your IT team, I'm pretty sure, is working on that. Right now, these are all public models. So be a little bit careful about sharing any company level data with these models.
Yeah, make sure that you only do that if you have permission from your IT team. And if you want to do some practice or if you want to just learn how to do it, you should do it on your computer, which is personal laptop. Okay, let me share one more use case. This is if you can still see my screen, right?
Yes, Asif.
So I have revenue and cost of revenue and gross profit data for the last. In this case, this is quarterly data for the last 4 years. I think 3 or 4 years. If I just see how many data sets are there. If I just see what is the count of this, so 57. So this is yeah, 20 quarters of data, 20 quarters of data for revenues and cost of revenue and gross profit. So I have the historical data for the last 20 quarters. And now what I want to do is I want to do the forecast for the next 1 year or the next 4 quarters. Okay. And I want to use statistical method of doing regression. So there are different ways you can do forecasting. You could use driver based forecasting. You could do time series. You could do regression. So in this case, I wanted to use regression. Okay. So let me share what prompt is here. Okay. So fairly straightforward. Using regression analysis, can you forecast 2025 looking at this data set? Okay, so I want next 4 quarters of forecast, and I wanted it to use regression analysis specifically. Now it started doing it, and it created the entire regression analysis equation that you typically would do when you are doing this type of analysis. And based on that, it was able to forecast the next 4 quarters of your revenues and cost of revenues and gross profit. Okay, it is also giving you comments in the cells, sharing the exact formula of what it has used to calculate that. So this was another example of doing forecasting using regression method. Let me see if I have something on ratio analysis. Yeah, I think in the interest of time, I'll stop here. I
Yeah.
think what is important is that you see what all capabilities are possible and you should experiment these on your personal laptop and start interacting with tools like Claude so that you are ready when these are implemented in your own organization.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of questions directed which almost asking the same question that can it work for rows which have 300, 400 line items or complex financial models?
Yes, yes, yes. So it can, however, it will consume more bandwidth or tokens. What happens when you exhaust your tokens in the Pro plan? It gives you a 4 hour cooling period, so it will not you will not be able to do anything for 4 hours. After 4 hours, your tokens get restored, and then again you can do your analysis, continue doing your analysis. And I have done that a couple of times. So even if you've done half of it and the tokens get exhausted, you can continue doing that after the 4 hours. If you want specifically more power, you can take a higher plan, which is the one above the Pro plan.
Uh, what
Repeat
what
the
about what about models that rely on data in separate files, which means I'm assuming it's talking about interconnecting
Hmm.
two files with some data.
Yeah, I haven't tried that. I don't think so that is doable, but I haven't tried that to be honest, because it is
Uh,
interacting with the same Excel in the using the add-in. So I doubt it will be able to do multiple files. It can do multiple sheets, but not multiple files as of now. But it could be possible in the future.
Okay, so while Claude is demonstrating strong capabilities and delivering impressive results, what specific safeguards are in place to ensure data privacy, confidentiality, and regulatory compliance?
Yeah, so right now you should be only using this if it has been approved by your IT and you have an enterprise agreement. Your organization has an enterprise agreement with the company Anthropic. So if you have that in place, only then you should be using it. Otherwise, you should not be using it for your office purposes. However, what we have seen with many clients that we work with, they have built similar kind of, or they are in the process of building similar kind of models, which are in-house models. So they are only accessible to the internal employees of the organization, and which is even more powerful than this because they have
Yeah.
more control on training that data.
So enterprise LLMs are now a reality. So I think most of the companies have started incorporating it with some minimal use cases. For example, I personally know a couple of Tata Group companies which have started incorporating an LLM model to in the procurement process, right? So that is very much a reality these days. But again, the underlying data, the preparation with the data is what most of the companies are at that stage because an LLM or any language model will work only if the underlying data is clean, right? Especially if it's enterprise level data. So most of the companies today are now in that phase of cleansing their data and organizing their data. And once that is done, you can put any of these LLM tools, enterprise version of any of these LLM tools, and you get your own chat GPT or a Claude style version within your company, which your employees can use as well. And many companies have started
Mm.
using that as well. Okay, so for a technical question, in the max version, if the prompt limit crosses for a chat, can we continue in new chat? How to refer previous chat for continuity of the prompt to get more insights?
In the max version, if the prompt limit crosses for a chat, okay, you meaning you've given a long prompt which doesn't fit into the chat. Okay, I haven't tried very long prompts to be honest, so I may not be able to answer
Yeah.
that. Ideally, you should limit your prompt to the capacity of the chat. I would not recommend you to have such long chats at the yeah, but I can imagine there might be situation where you may. So in that case, you may need to use the web version of Claude then. Okay, so
Yeah.
in that case, you can try the web version doesn't have that limitation, I guess.
On the web version of these tools, I've tried one thing where I had a long prompt. I put it
Hmm.
on a Word document and then I uploaded that as an attachment and said, study the Word document. It has a
Mhm.
prompt for building a website or something. And then
Yeah,
it used that as well.
so that option is there in Claude, so you can attach a file. Let me just share that where you can do that. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could have attached a file, and that is a way around to give a prompt, I believe, as Lawal mentioned, right? So let me just share. Okay, so here, if you see, notice there is a plus sign, so you could upload files here. Okay, and you could try uploading the prompt as a file here, and it should be able to read it because it usually reads all the files that I upload. So you can just say that I'm uploading the prompt in the file, and it should be able to catch it if the prompt is long. So I think that's a good way around.
I think privacy related questions we have already addressed. Is it
Yeah.
possible to build a model from scratch as a template to be
I,
used? I think we just built that at the start
I
of
think the
this.
first example we did was just giving one sentence or two sentences of prompt, and it built the entire 3 year forecast and the entire model with just one or two sentences.
Awesome. Can you repeat the last example once? I'm not sure which one was the last example.
Yeah, so let me do this, right? So I have been so I know you may want to try these on your own as well. So all these Excel files I can share it with you, but I know I have like 20 different Excel files. I cannot share it right
Yeah.
now here.
So, I mean, if
So
they are on the WhatsApp group, we can also share the recording as if they can, of course, refer back and
yeah,
then.
no. So if you can, I think we have a course where we have all the videos and Excel files coming up as the challenge every day when we are releasing it. So if you stay till the end, I will just open more slots in that. I'll open 100 more slots in that, and you can join that where you will get all the Excel files and everything recorded. So you can pause and again see and practice it on your own. So just allow me 10 minutes while Dhawal is speaking. I will just set it up and add 100 more seats to that, and I will share that link at the end of this webinar. Yeah, back to you, Dhawal.
So AI is the future, and now we have started seeing that almost every step that we teach or every step that we do in FP&A, some or the other AI tool is getting embedded into that, right? So I hope you realize how amazing it would be to learn all those AI-driven FP&A skills to grab futuristic finance opportunities. So what we have been doing at FPI is we have been consistently speaking to CFOs to understand what are their requirements, and most of the CFOs are finding it difficult to get the right kind of FP&A talent, especially the one which is tech driven. So that's where we could gather that they're looking for these five core skill sets today, right? So one is the core FP&A concepts. That's your budgeting, your forecasting, management reporting, variance analysis. All of these things are a core FP&A concepts, which will become more valuable once the AI starts automating all the routine-based tasks and your accounting stuff. Yeah. Financial modeling not related to valuation. It's also specifically related to FP&A as well, where you're looking at scenario planning, sensitivity analysis, revenue models, cost models, and all of those things as well. Data storytelling. Again, data storytelling is about creating presentations, communicating your insights. It's not just about complex dashboards. It's about how do you tell a cohesive story to the business team so that they don't understand 10,000 lines of Excel sheets, right? Then business partnering, that's collaborating with various cross-functional team members to truly partner with them, help them understand, coach them, and improve their decision making as well. So that is what is business partnering. And finally, leveraging the technology and AI developments that are happening in the finance field so that you can be far more efficient, fast, and effective as well. So these are the core five skill sets that CFOs today are looking for in the finance function. So what we have done, post quitting our harping CFO job and FP&A leader job, Asif and I have built a solid certification program. It's called the Certified Global FP&A Professional Program, the CGFPA program. Now, CGFPA is global FP&A certification built and delivered directly by CFOs and FP&A leaders. It has 10 comprehensive modules, which we'll talk about it in a while. Everything through experiential sessions, real life examples, real life use cases, classroom discussions, which are group discussions and mock situations as well. We'll be part of a global alumni community where CGFPA program has been taken by students from more than 25 countries now. We'll get sessions with a personalized careers coach. Placement support. Placement support has resume review, LinkedIn review. We also have our own job portal now. It's called fpnajobs.com, where we're trying to bring recruiters and talent on one platform. We have just recently announced a couple of partnerships with tool providers where we are trying to get internships for our CGFPA certified professionals so that they can get to work on some hands-on FP&A projects as well, tool implementation projects at various client levels. Apart from this, you can get any queries answered from our experts on a monthly Q&A call. You get expert sessions where we bring in the top FP&A experts, global digital transformation experts, tool and automation experts for guest sessions so that you get access to all of that. And everything happens seamlessly to the comfort of your home. We do these live sessions on Zoom, and you also get access to our online LMS where all the resources and the videos and everything will be uploaded as well. These are the 10 core modules in the CG curriculum. So let me just quickly start with the modules on the left. Right. So you have Introduction to FP&A, which is all about frameworks and what FP&A is. How do you implement an FP&A in a company which is not technically sound in FP&A? Then we're looking at budgeting and forecasting module, where we're looking at multiple case studies, revenue, different kind of cost models, traditional forecast, rolling forecast, driver-based planning, all of these different kind of case studies with practical examples. AI for Finance and FP&A, which is our latest addition. where we are covering multiple use cases, tools like ChatGPT, Power BI, ChatGPT, Copilot. There's an agentic AI tool called Manus AI. Claude, of course, we are integrating that in all our training programs so that you are able to execute FP&A stuff much faster than what you can do before. Management reporting in various different types of management report, different levels of analysis, performance management frameworks like KPIs, OKRs, different levels of profitability analysis, customer profitability, branch profitability, business unit profitability. All of that is covered in management reporting, again, through practical real life examples. Financial modeling, which we already spoke about, financial modeling, which is specific to three-segment financial models, revenue model, cost models, business model canvas, and sensitivity analysis, scenario planning, all of that through, again, examples and AI-driven examples as well. Introduction to data analytics, you will invariably dealing with large sets of data, right? So whether it is financial data or operational data, and that is where we are covering basics of Power Query, Power BI, SQL, and we're introducing more tools like Python. I keep forgetting the other one, Tableau. So we're using other data analytics tools as well, so that you are equipped to use these tools in your day-to-day FP&A function, right? And financial analysis, again, different levels of analysis which CFOs look for from an internal perspective, right? So this could be margin analysis, mix analysis, price volume analysis. All of that is covered in different kind of financial analysis, and not just ratio analysis. Financial analysis is much broader than just calculating some ratios. Storytelling and presentations. Yes, you can do 10,000 lines of Excel sheet and analyze 10,000 lines of Excel sheets, but how do you communicate that as a strong story with a visual, with a narrative to business teams so that they can take decisions? That is what is data storytelling module. Okay. Then finally comes strategy. Now, strategy is a very interesting module. As and when you start becoming senior, right, your senior management will start talking in a strategic language. Okay, at that point in time, you cannot use strategic terms loosely. So that's why we are covering all the popular strategic frameworks and also show you how they are linked with FP&A as well. And then finally comes business partnering, which is all about business acumen, your ability to build strong cross-functional relationships, right? So all of that is covered in business partnering, where we are sharing good 7 to 8 use cases or examples of how Asif and I have collaborated with various cross-functional team members in our career as well to understand what business partnering tool is. All in all, 10 solid modules in everything that you can imagine under the umbrella of FP&A. We are covering in this certification. Don't just think about this as a course or a certificate. This is 20 years of our blood, sweat, and tears, which Asif and I have put into this program. So make sure that you are able to use this. I wish we had a program like this when we started our careers in FP&A. We would not done as many mistakes as we have done. Now, what is the eligibility criteria for the CGFPA program? You need to either have a bachelor's degree or a globally equivalent in finance, accounting, or business. Alternatively, you may have professional qualifications like CA, CPA, CMA, CIMA, or AC, or any equivalent accounting qualification of your respective country. Okay. Again, we don't claim to be substitute for these primary qualifications, but we are in fact a supplement for these primary qualifications, because these are FP&A is something which is not taught in these qualifications. We are also accredited by CPD UK, so you can claim continuing credits in your professional qualifications as well. Now, how do you get the CGFPA award? 3 things. One is that every Saturday we meet live for 2 hours. Okay. And the live classes are usually on Saturday evenings. I think the next cohort will be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST. That's when you need to attend at least 50% of the classes live. After that, somewhere in month number 5, you will be working and submitting a capstone project, which is an end-to-end CFO presentation, a budget presentation, and all the guidance on that will be given to you. And once you submit that, you'll be eligible for the final examination. The final examination is 50 questions, 100 marks, 2 hours proctored examination, which happens online. And after that examination is completed, and you need to pass with at least 50% passing marks, then you will get the CGFPA certificate from FP&A Professionals Institute. Now, the ROI for a futuristic program like this, where it teaches you everything around analysis, FP&A, and AI-driven FP&A, right? So I leave the ROI to your imagination. The course fee investment in this program is USD 1795. There is also an option to pay over 5 months. The course duration will be for 6 months, where you are expected to attend the live classes every Saturday for 2 hours. Apart from that, at least 60 to 90 minutes of your own time investment is required for you to go through some pre-reading materials, assignment cases that we give you, so that we maximize the time in the classroom for quality case studies and discussions. The next cohort is starting from 14th of March 2026. 14th of March is the orientation date, right? And the actual sessions will start from April 4th. Make sure that you are able to submit your applications before 28th of Feb 2026 That's when the first round of applications are closing. What I would highly encourage all of you to do is at least just complete the application process. Let our academic counselors reach out to you. Okay, let them check your eligibility. There could also be some early bird offers which they will offer you, right? You can ask also for demo sessions. You can also ask for our previous alumni phone numbers. You can reach out to them. Do your due diligence. Okay, don't just take our word for it. There have been tons and tons of testimonials. Many of them have been able to land FP&A roles. Many of them have been able to transition into FP&A roles or implement a lot of frameworks that we have shared in their existing FP&A roles as well. Right? So reach out to NFR alumni and they'll be able to tell you how the program has been valuable for them. FP&Ajobs.com, like I mentioned, is our latest initiative. Make sure that you create a detailed profile on FP&Ajobs.com. Hopefully, your next opportunity will come from FP&Ajobs.com. Again, just reiterating the date, 28th Feb is when the first round of applications are closing. Make sure that you at least complete the applications and be in the race for the next cohort, which is starting on 14th of March, 2026. Thanks, everyone. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.